transformer what they call Boss FM. The Asoya Bako Ewa Branch Magoy filling station and Chemono Mape. And as a PZ at Jakum building. Yesansu Bimusa sanitation. Any Bimusa Abattoir frame. Our 0244 452 343 0243 811 233. Bimusa Enterprise. About the mobile phones and a flash screen papa padia. A one year general child.
نعم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وشفيعنا المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us yet another day, another hour for your favorite program, the book review show on MAM Online Radio and TV. You can find our app on Google Play Store. You can also find us live on Facebook and then all the other platforms that you can locate MAM Radio and then MAM TV. Now, this is the book review show. I said earlier, I am your host. My name is ABDUL Ishaq, and today helping me with our program is our regular panelist, Idris Muhammad AWWAL, who is the former General Secretary of Ashanti Regional Jimsa, and I also have with me Brother Abdul FATAH SAEED, who is also a member of Muslim Access Movement. He's also here with us. And inshallah, today we are going to have an introductory program of our book known as Reclaim Your Heart. Reclaim Your Heart by Yasmin Mujahid. Yes, she's a writer, she's a poet. In fact, she's amazing. And this book is her first, was her first book that she wrote. And it's a personal insight on breaking free from life's shackles. It's a personal book to help us with our personal development as people, both spiritually, religiously, socially, and all that. So there is so much to expect in this book. In fact, it's quite voluminous, though. It's about 200 and something pages. And inshallah, today we are going to begin with the first chapter. We will not really go so deep into it. We'll start with the first chapter. The book is very, very deep. And one sentence could mean a lot. In fact, you can spend the whole program on just one session. But inshallah, we will try to be as fast as possible and also to be as educative as possible, inshallah. So, like I said earlier, this is a book review show on MAM Online Radio and TV. Today, we are starting with the book Reclaim Your Heart by Yasmin Mujahid. Now, before we begin, or before I go to my panelists, for the discussion, I'd like to read a little introduction of the book. It's very short, a very short paragraph, and then from there we'll go into the first chapter, inshallah. So this is it. Reclaim Your Heart is not just a self-help book. It is a manual about the journey of the heart in and out of the ocean of this life. It is a book about how to keep your heart from sinking to the depth of the ocean and what to do when it does. It is a book about redemption, about hope, about renewal. Every heart can heal, and every moment is created to bring us closer to that transformative return. Reclaim Your Heart is about finding that moment when everything stops and suddenly looks different. It is about finding your own awakening in the returning of better, truer, and freer version of yourself. So clearly, this is a book that is intended to help us break free from the shackles of life. In fact, these days we go through a lot of emotional, challenges, a lot of social, personal issues, and this book is supposed to help all of us. So I'm sure you are going to really be part of this program, the book review show, as we try to, over the course of the few weeks ahead of us, we try to delve deep into the book. Now, like I said, we are starting with chapter 1. Chapter 1 talks about attachments. Chapter 1 talks about attachments. Attachments, I'll start with AWWAL, right?
No.
AWWAL. Now, attachments, the first chapter, or the first this thing under chapter 1 is, why do people have to leave each other? We know that every person in this world is in one relationship or the other. Nobody is coming from the woods, or nobody is actually coming from rocks. Everybody is in a certain relationship, whether family, whether marriage, whatever it is, friendship or whatever it is. So this first part is asking us, why do people have to leave each other? Brother Idris Muhammad AWWAL.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمدا صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم عبده ورسوله الحمد لله الذي لم يزل بالمعروف معروفا وبالكرم موصوفا كل يوم هو في شان وصفت نوحا بأنه كان عبدا شكورا وشفيت أيوب بأنه كان عبدا أوابا منيبا وجعلت النار إبراهيم بردا وسلاما فكان له ضياء ونورا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. We give thanks, praises and adoration to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us such a wonderful week to continue with our program, the book review show, on the topic, the book entitled Reclaim Your Heart. The subtopic that attachments. That's why do people have to leave each other? Now, let's first look at attachment. What is the meaning of the word attachment? Attachment, according to the dictionary, that's a strong bonding towards or a strong bonding with something. That's a dependence, especially a strong one. It means that attachment is very, very important. But who or what do we attach ourselves with or to? The person or the thing we attach ourselves to becomes or defines who we are. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created human being and gave human being intellect to think about everything on the surface of this earth. So Allah said, I created human being, then I fashioned human being with intellect, then I fashioned human being with hearing and seeing. So the hearing, you hear what Allah says, you see the signs and wonders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then it is up to you to contemplate on what you are going to attach yourself with. Are you going to attach yourself with the dunya, or you are going to attach yourself with the akhirah? Now let us look at a story. In the middle of the book, the writer cited a story in the Quran about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Initially, Prophet Ibrahim didn't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So initially, Prophet Ibrahim thought the moon was Allah. So when he saw the moon, he said, this is surely my Lord, my creator. When it was time for the moon to set, the moon set. So Ibrahim said, no, the moon cannot be God, cannot be Allah, because it has set. Allah doesn't set. If it is truly Allah, it will always be there. It means if I depend on the moon, one day the moon would disappoint me. So he carried on then to the stars and said, surely these are my Lord. That's my creator. So when it was time for the star to set, it did so. And Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said again that, no, this cannot be my creator. This cannot be my Lord. Because if I depend on this, definitely it is going to disappoint me. He went again and took the sun as his Lord, as his creator. Then in the process, when it was around the evening, the sun was no more. He said, no, the sun cannot be God. So I'm not going to depend on it. If I depend on the sun, it means definitely that it will disappoint me one day, because the Allah or the God I'm looking for is a God who never disappoints. Atakbir. Allahu Akbar. So why do people have to leave each other? When this question comes to mind, the first thing we have to bring into our mind, or we have to look at, is that who created us and what is our purpose on the surface of the earth. This is telling us our purpose. If you are with a company, or if you are with a people, some people in a group, and the people are not meeting the needs, your needs, definitely you have to leave those people. Let's go to Quran chapter 51, verse number 56, Surah Zariyah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. It means that the sole purpose for which Allah created humans and jinns is that we should come and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should also remember that Allah has given man the free will to think and make choices. And at the end of the day, you are going to be judged accordingly. So we are on the surface of this earth to, inshallah, worship Allah. But Shaitan, according to Quran chapter 7 verse 17, Shaitan promised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I am going to lead your people astray. I will make sure I attack them in front, from behind, from the right side, from the left. I'm going to attack them everywhere. Those I see that they don't like women, I'll break them down or bring them down with beautiful and fair, nice women. And I'll also bring some of them down with these telenovelas and other things, so that when it's time for prayers, they will forget about the prayer. I'll bring football matches. I'll fix them at Isha times. When it is Ramadan, I'll bring Champions League, where the people will start saying that, oh, even the prophet said when you pray Tarawih alone, there's more blessing in that. With that, I will break the chain, the bond of brotherhood between the brothers in Islam. So this is a promise that the Shaitan made with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah says something which I'm very, very happy with. Allah told Shaitan that if you lead them astray and they realize that they've erred, they've offended their creator, and they turn back to me, I will continue to forgive them. Anytime my servant turns to me to ask for forgiveness, I, Allah, inna Allah yakfiru zunuba jami'an, I, Allah, I forgive everything. So attachment is very, very important, but with who and with what? Your attachment should be purposeful, not that you are attaching yourself to anyone at all. No. Now, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he died, there is an incident surrounding his death. That is, when he died, no one believed that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam could die. But look at the manner in which the Prophet trained Abu Bakr and the rest. He trained to the extent that when they are speaking or telling the truth, they don't fear anything. They don't fear anything at all. So Abu Bakr Siddiq was the one to proclaim the death of the Prophet aloud for the rest of the people to understand that if you were worshiping Muhammad, know that Muhammad is dead. But if you were worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is Hayyul Qayyum, la ta'awudhuhu sinatu wa la nawm. Allah is ever living. Sleep or slumber doesn't take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah doesn't sleep, nothing takes him. Allah will not, cannot, and will never die. So he drew the attention to the fact that the Prophet Muhammad is a man and he is dead. He died. If the Prophet himself died, then like the hadith said, in the Quran says, innaka mayyit wa innahum mayyitun. If the Prophet is dead, the Prophet is someone who that definitely we those who are following him to what will die. So why do people have to leave each other? People have to leave each other so that they get the best of this dunya and the akhirah. Why? One, let us look at this dunya. Nothing is permanent. If someone is enjoying life, a time will come. I've seen a landlord becoming a tenant before his death. I've seen a car owner boarding a public transport before his death. So it means that nothing on the surface of this earth is permanent. So we shouldn't attach ourselves to this dunya. If you are in a company, like the Prophet said, man tashabaha becoming for who I mean whom, and everybody is going to be raised among the people he or she attach him or herself with. And the Prophet also said that we are going to, or we are on the religion of those we take as our friends. So this is also telling us that we must find good people to attach ourselves with. So if you are in a company, if you are in a group, if you are with the people, and the people are not moving in the pace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it means you have to detach yourself from them. It's very, very important, because the people will one day die, but Allah doesn't die. That's why Kitab al-Akhdari by Imam Malik, he said that La ta'at li mahluk fi ma'asiyat al-khaliq. Don't follow and obey the creation to the expense of the creator, in the expense of the creator. Means you obey the creation to disobey the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as a normal human being, we should know that definitely this world we are living in will surely and one day leave us. So we shouldn't attach ourselves from this in this world. However, let me go from the book. He said, this world is all about seeking those things everywhere else. Some of us seek it in our careers, happiness. I always say that the concept of happiness is always misconstrued to material wealth, material gains. No. Because if you have a car today, by 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, the car will be old. Let's say if you bought it 2018, 2019, it will be old. Your car will not be new again. It means it's not permanent, it's not perfect. Definitely, it has to go. And new ones will come. Let's look at mobile phones. Now, Infinix Hot 2, Hot 3, they are all now outdated. We now have current ones. And the current and latest ones too are going to be outdated sooner. So it means that if we don't find where we will get the happiness, it means we are misconstruing the concept of happiness. We can only become happy in this dunya if we attach our hearts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the book is saying that some of us seek our happiness in our careers. There are some of us, if you are in our career, we become very happy. If you attach yourself more to your career, when something happens in it, it means that definitely you are going to be depressed. Some people die when their companies collapse. Some people die when there is fire outbreak in their companies. Some people die when they are fired. It means that this dunya is not perfect. Nobody owes us all these things. We are going to leave them one day. Also, some people seek it in their wealth. If they have wealth, they think wealth is everything. But wealth is not everything. Like Allah said, Al-mal wal-banuna zinatil hayati dunya. Our wealth, our children, they are all how do I even put it? They are all enjoyment in this dunya. Definitely we are going to leave them. So we shouldn't depend much on them. Some also seek their happiness in their status. I am the MP, I am the president, I am the imam, I am the this. So they seek happiness in that. When they are being called, Ya imam, Allahu Akbar, Ya president, Ya secretary. No. We shouldn't seek it in the position, but we should seek it in the one who gave us what? The position. In a hadith, the Prophet Muhammad was with the Sahabas, and they saw people carrying the corpse of a Jew. And the Prophet stood up. They said, Ya Rasulullah, he's not a Muslim, he's a Jew. He said, yes. But is he not a human being? They said, he's a human being. I am not giving the dead person the respect because of the dead person, but because of the one who caused the death of the Jew. Allah. Who? That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when the Prophet says something like this, those who believe in Allah, their hearts find rest. And the Quran said, in the recitation of the Quran, do hearts find rest. So it means we must attach ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the injunction of the Prophet Muhammad and his instructions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Ulama Rashidun. Because those people too, they are on the right path of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So most of the time we have to refer it to them. Some also put their happiness or seek their happiness in their relationship with others. If others are not there, they can't become happy. So people always say that you have to happy yourself. No. Yeah. For yourself, you have to get the internal motivation. You have to be like my type. I'm always internally motivated. I don't wait for someone to make me happy. No, I happy myself. Yes, because internally I know that there is a God who, inshallah, will protect me. There was this man and his wife. They were in a boat. Then the storm, there was a heavy storm. The man was comfortably sitting and laughing, but the wife was shaking very hard. Then the wife said, husband, why is it that look at the storm? The storm is very, very happy. I'm frightened, and you are just laughing. The husband didn't say anything. He took out his knife, then put it at the neck of the wife. The wife was laughing. The husband said, why are you laughing then? He said, I know you love me. You are my husband. You will not let anything bad happen to me. I know you are not going to cut my throat. The husband said, Allahu Akbar. You know, I also know Allah loves us. I know that Allah is the controller of this storm. Whatever happens is the doing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I know Allah will not hurt us with this storm. That's why I'm comfortably sitting. So a scholar once said that if you give everything to Allah, you will find Allah in everything. No. So what, in a nutshell, in conclusion, what I would say is that why people leave each other is that it is because this life isn't perfect. this life isn't perfect. You will see a son abusing his father, but previously the son didn't do that. It means that this life isn't perfect. This life is dynamic. It changes every day and every time. So if we are to put all our trust, our energy, our happiness, everything in this life, it means that we are not grasping anything. Quran chapter 2 verse 250 says, and the Quran says, La ikraha fi din, qad tabayyana rushdu min al-ghayy. Faman yakfur bit-taghuti faqad istamsaka bil-urwati al-wuthqa la infisama laha wallahu sami'un alim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that La ikraha fi din, there should be no compulsion in religion. Rushdu min al-ghayy, because the truth is now distinct from falsehood. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرُ بِالطَّاغُوتِ فَقَدِ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى لَا انفِصَامَ لَهَا وَاللَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. So whoever rejects evil and believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has grasped the most trustworthy handhold. The most, that underline word, the most trustworthy handhold. It means if we are to depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, it means that inshallah we will find happiness. And to the end of the verse, said that Allah's handhold never breaks. There's wisdom behind whatever Allah calls to happen to us. And Allah hears and knows all things. So in a nutshell, I'm saying that this world is not perfect. Everything on the surface of this earth is not perfect. If we are to depend on that for our happiness, then definitely we are not going to find it. But if we are to depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I believe and trust that we are going to find happiness everywhere. So why people leave each other is that if they don't find the happiness within these people or from those people, they have to leave to a more perfect being, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will leave human being, but we don't leave Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you ask me, that is the little I can say about why people leave others, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Naam, thank you very much, Idris Muhammad Awal, for that elaboration on the first portion of chapter 1, which is why do people leave, isn't it?
Naam.
We're still talking about attachments now. So the next subtopic on attachments is people leave, but do they return? That is going to be tackled by Brother Abdul Fatah SAEED. Now, but before then, our third panelist has joined us. And let me introduce him before Abdul Fatah speaks, because right after Abdul Fatah, we'll come to him to deal with the next part. He is in the person of Brother Furqan Muhammad, isn't it? Now, Brother Furqan Muhammad is a medical student. I think he's in final year, isn't it? He's far from final year. Okay, he's a medical student at University. University for Development Studies, isn't it? Okay, now that is it. So you are welcome, Brother Furqan, even though you were late. Now, before Furqan comes in, Abdul Fatah.
No.
People leave, but do they return?
Inshallah. The boy is in my court.
No.
Alhamdulillah, 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 summa alhamdulillah. الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا إليه النشور. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
إن شاء الله. We can't begin our thoughts without giving thanks and praise to Almighty Allah, the Creator who created all creations and made we men to be the pinnacle of His divine art. We seek His peace and blessings to be upon our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, unto his households and unto all those who helps him to fight for the cause of Islam, and unto we who are following the right steps of him to the day of Qiyam. I stand here to give much thanks and salutations to all those through them their act of faith made this thing come into an existence, as we are using these means to propagate Islam. Without this, I would have been on my bed or doing something else, but they have what involved me into the doings of Allah. At-takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Today we are discussing a book. And that book is written by a lady who didn't give herself to the world, but Islam and Allah. That's why we are discussing his book now. The title or the topic of this book that we are treating today is known as Reclaim Your Heart. So before I go to my topic, I would rather let our audience, our listeners, our viewers have a clear understanding about these two words, reclaim and the heart. At-takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Wallahi, before we end this topic, this book, each and every ummah of our generation should find a means of having this book to read. Because the little line that I have in this book, Bismillah, last night I wept just because of reading the introduction, just the introduction of this book. At-takbir. Bismillah, the book is questioning us or telling us how to reclaim our hearts. So first, let's look at the word reclaim. What does it stand for? Reclaim here can mean by a way of retrieving or recovering something previously lost in our life. Inshallah. And then let's come to the word heart. We all have hearts in us. And the heart has been the very engine of our body. Without it, we can never exist or live in this earth. And bi'idhnillah ta'ala, we all know the function or the functions of the heart to the body. It has too many ways of what functioning. Talking about the heart. So religiously, our heart has its own way of what working as to, let's say, the world at large. But I like something that the Prophet Muhammad said about our heart. And the Prophet Muhammad informed us in a very famous tradition commonly quoted with reference to halal and haram. About the importance of the heart, he said, and I quote, "There is in the body a clump of flesh. If it becomes good, the entire body becomes good. And if it becomes bad or corrupt, the whole or the entire body becomes bad. And indeed, that flesh is the heart." At-takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
That is the most part that I want and I love about this hadith. He said, and indeed, that flesh is the heart. You see, the body itself is so big and huge that even a human can tell his fellow human by saying, "Do you know me? Can you compare yourself to me?" But that entire huge body that we are seeing, that is claiming power upon itself, is being controlled by that small flesh, which is indeed the heart. At-takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
So when this heart is being corrupted, this entire body is following it. And when it is good, it follows it. At-takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
You ask me, people leave us, but do they return?
Allahu Akbar.
At-takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Yes, people leave us. And our brother here has digested this for us to understand that truly people leave us. But do they return?
No.
You see this question? A Christian will tell you you need what? The Holy Spirit before you understand it.
Digest it.
Bismillah. We see it to be something small. But to swim deep into it, it is something big to understand. Sheikh, Bismillah ta'ala, do people who leaves us return? I stand here to question ourselves. Those whom we have lost within our families, our grandparents, have they returned? we will say no because we are not seeing them again. But in order to let us understand this, let me put the answer in two different dimensions. Brother, let's take the word and Allah to answer this question. Is this the only phone that you have ever used in your life? No. You have used countless number of phones that even you yourself can't even count. Somebody like my brother Yunus, who is well known into these gadget things, technical man, he can't even count the number of phones that he has used in his life. But those previous phones that he's no more using, have they returned to him?
No.
We use cars. Car can get an accident. Does it return to us? Do our wife that we divorce return to us?
Maybe.
In some way. That's why I say our question here has two ways to walk through. Brother, Bi-Idhnillah, it can never be if the understanding to this word, so far as Allah is concerned, is not there. Because one, somebody will tell you, when I divorce my wife, surely he has left, he has lived, but she can surely come back. Why? Because when we go seek for forgiveness and it is been forgiven, we can reconnect. There, she has come back.
No, sure.
Right?
No.
My car had an accident. It didn't collapse. I repaired it. It came back to me. My phone got spoiled. It didn't condemn. I repaired it. It came back to me. But this question here that we are asking, that's why I want people to understand the book before we delve into it. This topic that we are treating is not about these worldly gains. If you think it in that way, you find yourself lost in the way of discussing this book. But in a nutshell, our sister, our mother, may Allah accept her doings of propagation of Islam to the day of Qiyam. That sister Yasmin, who wrote a book that we are discussing. He said in his book, and I quote, that in answering a question of those who leave us and to their return, she would say that what is lost, or whether what is lost comes back, she studied the most beautiful examples of the history of Islam.
Allah.
Where he started questioning us. When Yusuf left the father or the family, did Yusuf return to his father? It's a question.
Sure.
He said, did Musa return to his mother? He went on by saying, did Hagar return to Abraham or Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam? Did health, wealth, and children and beautiful you see, the children return to Ayub at Takbir?
Allahu Akbar.
Did they or did it? No. From these stories, we learn a powerful and beautiful lesson. What is taken by Allah is never lost. That is why I want people to understand this book. When the thing is taken by Allah, it's never lost. And in fact, it is only what is with Allah that remains. Everything else vanishes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what is with you must vanish, but what is with Allah will endure, and you will certainly bestow on those who patiently persevere their reward according to the best of their actions. That's Quran chapter 16 verse 96. Because of time, I don't want to go much further into this book. This is the answer given to us by our mother. So if you've been asked that the people who lives out, do they return? I will say yes to it. Because when it is taken by Allah, it is never lost. And something that is been, or that is not lost, can return, right? But in return, when it is taken by Allah, has a time.
Yes.
But we are rather the lost ones. But those that we seek them that they are lost are the living, because they were taken by Allah. So you see, in this world, when we lose most of our loved relatives, especially to our dearly Christians and the Ashanti tradition, the way they even cry to a dead person who is living tells you it seems without that person there is no power to control them in this world. Some even cry by saying, and today Muslims are coping because Rasulullah once told us before that we will follow their steps until they enter into the hole they remain in, and we will come out from the next end and leave them there. And now, seriously, Muslims are missing within this generation. Brother, let me tell you the reason. Before the start of Islam, before the coming of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you see, Jesus Christ alayhi salatu wasalam promised us in the Bible. He told the Jews and the Christians in their Bible that they want to succeed me, they want to come after me, will come, and sooner will he come. But this person will not come from you people, the Israelites, the Jews, but rather from the Arabian side. So you see, the Jewish nation thought it wise that yes, if that is the case, and this great person will not come from us, then we have to rather follow to meet him and destroy him. So you know, before the Jews went to Medina to settle at Medina, waiting for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wallahi, why? Because they read the Bible, they got known to the Bible, and believed that yes, that person will come. And when he comes, he is coming to condemn us, conquer us, so we have to fight against him. If you want to know the Jewish fight as against Muhammad, read, if you can't even read there because maybe it is too long for you, the generation is too long, go and read about America fighting against Osama. It's a clear definition to the start of Islam. But because of time, we can't talk much about this. We cannot talk much about it. But I'm telling the world that in ending this, we should be critically careful about this one and our way of living with people. Bi-Iznillah, the dead ones have left, but we the living, it is good to surround yourself with relatives. It is good to build socialization.
Yes.
But the case is, what are the kind of people that you live with? So if it comes that your people, going back to our previous book, are the corrupted ones, leave them forever. Leave them in this world before the world leaves you. But if they are of the Yunus type, Umarist and Faisal's type, be in touch with them. That comes the attachment that we are treating.
No.
So, with here, I will say, the question being asked, that do the people who leaves us return? I will say, what our mother stated in his book, by saying all those previous who left, their parents, their wealth and stuff, they did return to them. Inshallah, it answers everything of our speech. What we have been said, the wrong should be forgiven and the good should be a blessing unto us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. That is when we lose our people, or the people that we are attached to, will they return? This is what Yasmin Mujahid said in the final paragraph of that particular text. She says that, so to the question, once something is lost, does it return? The answer is yes. It returns sometimes here, sometimes there, sometimes in a different, better form, but the greatest gift lies beneath the taking and the returning. But the greatest gift lies in beneath what? The taking and the returning. Allah tells us in the Quran, Quran chapter 10, verse 58, that say, in the bounty of Allah and His mercy, in that let them rejoice. It is better than what they hoard. That is Quran chapter 10, verse number 58. Now we move on to Brother Furqan. Talked about, getting attached to things and people in this dunya. Clearly, this book is trying to demystify, the misconception of us thinking that happiness is found within people and material things. So now, the next chapter, the next part which you are going to talk about is filling this inner hole that we sometimes, yearn to fill. How do we fill it? And then come in hope, inshallah. Brother Furqan.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'll first of all thank Brother Abdulaziz for inviting me to be on this show. And then my colleague and panelists, you've done a wonderful job. You've set the bar so high actually. Alright, so Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim as-sirata alladhina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. First of all, I would like to point out that the fact that the author of the book is a lady.
No.
And the book is an Islamic book.
No.
So this kind of stress the importance of women's
Education.
education.
In Islam. So
They have a very significant role in Islam.
No.
That they part of the system.
No.
In fact, they teach us what we know. You understand?
No.
You are spending a lot of time with your mother.
Yeah.
If your mother is well versed in the religion, and you are also going to be well versed in the religion. So it's just showing everybody that that misconception that Islam suppresses women and then all those things, they are false. Because we are here, four gentlemen, discussing a book that a woman wrote.
Yes, and people are listening to us all around the world. And a lot of them too are also men.
Yes. So you see that it's not that Islam far from suppresses women.
No.
In fact, we are one of the religious bodies that give them the right to operate.
Yes.
Okay, so going to the title of the chapter I'm supposed to discuss, they said you should filling the inner hole and then coming home. So as the previous chapters talked about, you had something, you thought you loved it, right? And then that thing left. Okay, will it come back or will it not come back? The last chapter and paragraph you read, so some will come back,
Some will not.
Maybe it will come back in different form that you not appreciate on it.
No.
But whatever the case, there is blessing in you losing it, whether you get it back or not. So you've lost something. How are you going to fill the inner hole? You have something in your heart, then you lost it. There's a vacuum that they created. What are you going to fill it with?
Mm-hmm.
So you had how do you call it? You had money. You got attached to your money so much so that you are now depressed from the fact that you've lost the money. So you have an empty space in your heart. So what are you going to fill it with? Are you going to fill it with something which is also going to be lost again, or you are going to fill it with something that is eternal? So if you are going to fit in when you lose something and then you are down, you are desperate to feel it. Be like, oh, this guy, my friend, he thinks he's the only he thinks he's the only guy around. I'll replace him. I'll get another. If he's a husband, I'll get another husband, and you see someone who is nice looking, better looking than him, who has more money than him. So if you go and replace, let's say, your husband with someone who is better looking, richer, more, muscular or something, is that what you are supposed to fill that hole with? Are you supposed to fill vanity with vanity, or you are supposed to fill something that will last? So this chapter seeks to talk about the desperation that is created when we lose something. Sometimes in the desperation to fill, we make a lot of mistakes. You want to fill the space, so you are depressed. You failed an exam, so you are depressed. So let me go into drugs.
Yes.
Let me go and get some cocaine or weed. So that
Some people even say, let me go and get some girlfriends so that
get some girlfriend so that she will console me. Or your girlfriend bounces you, so then let me go and get
some other
tramadol or something.
no.
So in the desperation to fill a space, you could even go in for something that will cause
will be
more
worse
harm than what you lost in the first place. So the chapter seeks to enlighten us about the fact that if you lose something, you have to be very careful in filling the space that has been created, because the space that has been created is a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to draw your attention to the fact that you are not supposed to be very much attached to that thing that you lost, so much so that you be depressed or you have a problem losing it. So if you take a look at just these collapsed banks, someone just rose from the ranks.
Yeah.
Let's say cashier, manager, branch manager, to regional manager, and is now
among the
director
directors
or something. And he didn't even know the bank was going to collapse. He just woke up one day and saw that,
everything is gone.
Consolidated bank. Hey, where's my bank? It's gone. What are you going to do? You understand?
Mom radio.
It's not like it was your fault or something. Allah's one, that's what He wants. He has taken it, and you are supposed to survive. And so, if this space is created, what are you going to do? So, the book didn't leave it there. It's also suggested ways of filling the space. So you have the eternal Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who can fill any space anywhere. So you are depressed from losing a spouse. Where do you turn to? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You've lost your job. Where do you turn to? Allah. You've lost your money. Where do you turn to? Allah. Anything that you lose, return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are going to find more joy with Allah more than you were found with what you lost.
No.
Also, another point that I think the chapter was about. Sometimes when we lose something, we be like, why does God make us go through this
pain?
So why am I losing? Why this?
Yeah,
why
this has led people to even leave Islam. Some
Yes.
people have even become atheists. Like, if
Because
God loves me, if
why
God
does
claims
he
He
make
loves,
us
why does He
suffer?
make us suffer? Why does He make us go through pain?
Why He's the owner of everything? Why doesn't He just give it
Give
to
us,
us?
yes.
Why doesn't He give us rain, water, money? Why will He wait for? So it's a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing us. And in Surah Al-Mulk, Allah says, this malam, how do you say it? تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. So He created us. He created us, created death, and then created life. Why did He create death and life? Because He wanted to see which amongst us is going to do the good works. The good works is when you are desperate to do something, you are going to put Allah consciousness before you do that thing. Okay, I have a space in my heart, I want to fill it. Is this thing Islamic? This thing that I'm going to fill the space with, is it Islamic? Does Islam allow it?
No.
Will Allah be happy with me? Did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam do this? Because anything that you are going through, the Prophet, the Khulafa Rashidin, or somebody in Islam that we are supposed to look up to has ever gone through it. So you look at the person, the Khulafa Rashidun, the Prophet's way of tackling that depression or feeling that inner hole. So if you look at the Prophet, when his uncle died, in the year where his uncle died, they lost a fight, he was depressed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him a surah to what? To encourage him. So when you are depressed, you turn to your Quran, you turn to your hadith, you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you look at Abraham's story, for example, Abraham was empty. He was questioning himself. Oh, there's something my heart's supposed to be filled with something. What is it? So Abraham started asking himself, now, what should I fill my heart with? Is it the love of the sun, the love of the moon, star? And then doing that, he came up and then found that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one he was supposed to have in his heart. So we are supposed to look up to the prophets,
No.
The lifestyle of the prophets, and then emulate them. Also, the things that we are supposed to fill our hearts with, they are, how do you call it? They are creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not like we shouldn't like money, or we shouldn't like women, or we shouldn't like
Chocolates.
or you shouldn't seek for promotion in your workplace, or you shouldn't seek to be president one day, or
No.
so inshallah, if the FATAH seeks to be president one day, inshallah, it's halal.
It's a good thing.
Yes, but what we are saying is you are supposed to take the halal way. Don't say, oh no, I'll have to
By
be
hook or crook.
president. Yes, so no. So you take the halal way of doing it, and then you also have to take note of the fact that all those things are created by Allah, and the things itself are not significant to Allah. It's the iman that comes with it. So there's a sky, there's a moon, there's a sun. The sun gives us light, gives us warmth, it keeps us warm, right?
Yes.
If there was no sun, we all die from hypothermia or something. And so, and if there is no night, you'll be there and no one will sleep, right? So you work the whole day, you get tired. If there is no day you sleep the whole night, and then when you work and get money to eat. So everything that is created, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to look at a thing and then ponder over it so that we get iman. So like he said in the Quran, inna fi khalqi samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafi al-layli wan nahari la ayatin li ulil albab. There is an ayah, there are signs in the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the signs are not there for everybody. Allah says li ulil albab, they are for those who watch, those who think. So if you do not think, you are not going to see the sun. The sun is there, it's supposed to shine, and every day it's supposed to rise and fall. You are going to think about the revolution of the earth or whatever. Yes, you are not going to see the power of Allah behind all those things. So we are supposed to be conscious of the fact that there's somebody who controls all these resources that we seek in our lives. So we are supposed to pay allegiance to that person. If you pay allegiance to that person, all those things will be at your disposal.
No.
Yes. I mean, you are not going to suffer from getting it. They said there are some, how do you call it? There's some Hausa tradition when they see the chief, they just start singing praises and everything. So what will the chief do? The chief start giving them money. But they don't come and say, chief, give us money. No, they just come now. Hey, intelligent chief, majesty, your majesty.
Sensible. You live long. You will never die. Meanwhile, he himself, he knows he's going to die.
He knows he's going to die, but oh, you see that? Oh, the fans is coming. You are praising him. So the same thing, we have to tend to Allah and give him his praises and all his resources, the things that we are seeking. Inshallah, if you put in the effort, you are going to have it. Then the coming home. So where are we going to? If you feel your heart, where are you going to? In the end, we are going back to Allah. As one of my panelists is already put it, we all die. We go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are you going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with? Are you going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your heart filled with the love of money, or with a heart filled with the love of women, a heart filled with the love of drugs, or a heart filled with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Which of these options would you want to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Which one will impress him? Which one do you think he's going to reward you for? So obviously it's the one that is filled with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his anbiya. So I think those are the points that I want to make.
As far as that's okay, thank you very much, Malam Furqan Muhammad. Now, we have been discussing the book Reclaim Your Heart by Yasmin Mujahid. This has been the book review show. We have about 10 minutes to sign off. So I'll go back to my panelists again, give them about 2 minutes, and then we will summarize the 3 parts of chapter 1. These are parts of chapter 1. We've not even gone deep into chapter 1 itself. No. Like I said before the program, or when we were starting, the book is very deep, very, very deep. And I would wish that each and everyone listening to us would have a copy and then be able to appreciate the content of this book, inshallah. So we've been talking about people will definitely leave. The things that we have, all the things that we cherish in this world, we will lose them. People will go. Our friends, our loved ones will go. When they go, they come back. They may come back, they may not come back. They may go and then maybe come back in a different form and all that. And after that, what are we supposed to fill our hearts with? Or the void that these people leave us with? How are we supposed to fill it? And this is what we have been discussing. So within 2 minutes, I would ask you all to just give a summary of what you have been discussing, and then we will close, inshallah. So I'll start with AWWAL.
Thank you very much once again. In summary, what I would like to draw the attention of our cherished viewers and listeners on is that we shouldn't put our hopes in this dunya, which is temporal. We should put our hopes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran says, وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. That's the future. The akhirah is better than this dunya. We are going to leave everything here. Your car, your wife, your house, everything. Why not put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who will judge you, who will ask you questions on everything? So there's a crucial lesson here, that there is only one handhold that never breaks. Yes, there's only one handhold that never breaks. There's only one place where we can lay our dependencies. There's only one relationship that should define our self-worth, and only one source from which we seek our ultimate happiness and fulfillment and security. And you know what this handhold is? The handhold is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah said we should trust him. If indeed it is him that we are worshipping, then we should put all our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not this dunya which is temporal and which cannot be trusted. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Abdul Fatah.
Inshallah. And before, I would like to ask you as a host a question. Let's say 2 questions to start on it to conclude everything. Before, the first question is: would you like to marry a daughter of the King of Saudi Arabia?
said, man,
Personally, it depends on the person.
Yes. Oh, look at the home. Well, temptation be temptation, but say the truth.
When we get there, we cross the bridge.
You see, the reason why I'm saying all these things, we can't conclude this without what praising our sister, because I wish she is my mom. I wish she is my sister. So we are standing on this to tell our noble sisters around, following ACCESS, following Islam in general, that it is never too late to seek for the knowledge. It doesn't matter the office that you are in. Don't say it is too late for you to seek for Islamic knowledge. If this sister was just into secular education without Islam, this thing wouldn't have. We should try and blend it together. My brother, in this world, we Muslims and they that we call them kafirs, who jubilate over dead bodies.
We celebrate dead bodies.
Yes.
Of course.
Them. Why? Because even as we are seated here, we are enjoying some. So those who are even listening to us can be hearing some sound, like some music rhymes going at the background of our talking. And it is not we playing. People are what? Celebrating over dead body. Why am I saying this? Don't laugh. Why am I saying this? When a Jew, if an Arab kills one Jew, they will plan to kill 1,000 Arabs. Why? Because they see this world to be their heaven. So when they lose this world, it seems that they've lost everything. But to you, if your brother lose this world, you see him to going for the better one hereafter. So you never jubilate over them. You understand? So this is clearly explaining to us that, bi'Iznillah, if we live this way and die to join them in hell, we are what? The most stupid creatures among the creations of Allah. If we live this life and die to join them in hell, we are the most stupid among the creations of the stupid creatures among the creations of Allah. Bi-Iznillah. So Allah guide us and may He straighten our ways to His way, so that at the end we seek the better way to enjoy our life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, so I'd like to thank my brother for that disclaimer there. Maybe if someone was hearing the music,
you would think that we are using it as background tune.
I think it was very important. Okay, so to stress on the role of the lady Muslima, the Muslima in Islam.
Yes.
Just I think this morning I saw a video on Facebook, and then there were some judge that they were stranded. They couldn't find their malam.
No.
The ulama that was supposed to show them around, maybe go here, go this, go here, go that. And it's not everyone who knows what he or she is supposed to do.
No.
So, and then there was a lady amongst them. You know, they move, even though you can mix around. I mean, it's just natural that ladies will move together. And the guys also move together. So the ladies were together, and then they couldn't find their malam who was supposed to take them around. And there was one lady amongst them who knew the rituals, so she just volunteered and guided them. So you understand, if you don't be like, the imam is a guy, so where am I learning the Quran? No, you are also significant. In fact, your role is more significant than. In fact, you can't.
Exactly.
You can't quantify it. So, and then about the heart and what should be filled with it and everything. If you look at the story of the Prophet Muhammad when he was lying under a tree, and then someone came with a knife on his neck. Hey, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, oh, cool. Hey, how? There's a knife on your neck. And I say, cool. Yeah, why? Because his heart was filled with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No.
So he knows that even if he cuts his neck, where is he going to? He's going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No.
So, and it's better than
it's a bonus.
So you are even helping him.
Yeah.
So inshallah, we should also try as much as possible to fill our hearts with the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so if you do that, the earth is going to be just easy for us, because you encounter a problem, you know Allah, you get something, you know it's Allah. So in fact, we as Muslims and Mu'mins, we never lose. Everything we get is a success. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to fill our hearts with His consciousness. Thank you very much.
Okay, now. Thank you very much, Furqan Muhammad, Abdul Fatah SAEED, and IDDRISS Muhammad AWWAL, for coming through to make this program a success. May Allah bless you all, and may Allah grant you befitting spouses, inshallah. Very good wives.
Ameen.
Since I'm married, I have 2 wives.
Okay, inshallah. Inshallah.
He said you ought.
2 wives. My regards to my 2 wives.
You are having 2 wives.
Mimunatu and Najwa. Anyway,
He's giving shout outs to his wives.
Yes.
Hey, I know you're a bachelor. Don't come and misbehave. No, I don't know. May Allah put barakah in our efforts, and may Allah grant us all success in this world and in the hereafter. This is where time will allow us to bring to an end today's edition of the book review show. We have started with a book that was written by a female, Yasmin Mujahid. The book is Reclaim Your Heart. Inshallah, next week we will continue from where we ended today. Until then, we leave you all with the best of salutations. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
But that topic, the love.
And then remember when you be a baby, and your mobile phone piano also kita. I was on your phone, Papa. Bimusa Enterprise, Elma quality phone. I'm more easy. We hear Samsung, Nokia, Infinix, iPhone, and also Techno. Mobile phone be a Pomorian Sobeko, Bimusa.